Hello, it's me, Alisa, with My Spiritual Friend. I'm a little bit late tonight, so I just bounced on. I'll start the list off as soon as someone sees. Um, I am here every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do live readings. They are $5 a question. 30% of all of the donations this evening will be going to be donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I just think it's a great place to send the money, and a little bit of money goes a long way for them. So, and right now there is such a need for food. So we'll be doing that. I'm just kind of chattering until people catch up and are on. Please like and subscribe, share me with your friends. I do private readings. You can find those on my website at myspiritualfriend.com. I'm on Instagram under My Spiritual Friend. I'm on Twitter. I do mentoring. Tonight we'll start with, I'm going to write the list down because I didn't send it to KK yet. So I'll write the list. My apologies, KK. I don't know. You always make it look nicer than this. So big week, guys. I didn't, a lot of people, a lot of readers will jump on and, oh my God, what's going on? And I tend to sit back. I did say last weekend that, there were some recordings that came out with him trying to get Georgia to overturn the elections and all of that stuff. And I said that this was the tip of the iceberg, that more stuff was coming out, more things were going to happen. This is not what's happened. It is interesting to watch Trump's empire crumble. They just announced too that the PGA will no longer be using his golf courses. They're talking, I just saw now they are sending for requests for the 25th Amendment to be invoked. And then they're talking about, because you can impeach past presidents, and it's really to help prevent them from running again. It's sort of their goal. It's not so much that we want to have this, thing. I do think that they're going to do that. I do think it'll be, they're talking about the 100th day. I do think that they will end up impeaching him. I think between now and then, so much more is going to come out that it will get pushed through. It's going to get kind of delayed. It's going to take a little bit longer. It's not going to be a super quick process. There will be some people who are fighting it. They're telling me something about Ted Cruz right now, but I'm not sure exactly what's that. I don't know if the 25th Amendment is going to be invoked. I'm not super strong on that. I do feel like they're showing me like somebody being cut off at the knees. So I feel like, yes, we still need to be vigilant about the QAnoners and the Trumpers. But I feel like with being like basically being all the social media, every outlet for them in order to like grab more people in to their cult like behavior, it feels like it's been cut off at the knees. So it can still have movement, but it's not going to get the traction that they did for this past week. I also keep getting something around the 13th being significant. So that's Wednesday. So just watch Wednesday. I don't know. KK had mentioned that there's a new moon, I think you said, KK. But I keep getting something kind of happening around the 13th. And remember I said, and this was like in 2019, that he would be out, but not how we want. And I think like a lot of this is around that too. So there's a lot of stuff that would be not how we want for his exit. Yes, I got your Nicole. I don't know if I got your donation. Let me look. I didn't see your name. You know what? I did see your name. Hang on. I thought I saw it. Maybe I just did. I just must have accidentally forgot to write it down. I apologize for that. So energies kind of suck right now. It's hard to sit in that energy. So lots of nice deep breathing. You can visualize surrounding yourself with a white light of protection. Take a nice saltwater bath. clear your spaces, ground. If it's not too cold where you're at, go hang out with a tree. They're really, really wonderful just to sit under a tree, kind of like they sort of help draw your energy and help pull your energy. You can also visualize, hi Lily, you can also visualize a tree roots coming up and kind of pulling you down. You can carry a crystal with you. I tend not to carry mine because they're a little bigger and they don't fit my pocket so well. You don't want to be first? Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me see what this says. Oh, hello. We've got a few more people here now. Okay. Oh, Nicole, you did. I don't know why it didn't show up on mine before. So Nicole, you can be first if you want, because you're the first one showing up on my list. So you can be first. I've got Nicole, Emily, Dulcie, Starry Sky, Carly, Tracy, Shaheen, Devry. Then I've got Lily and Cheryl and Megumi. Hi, Megumi. Welcome. So now I know some of you guys are intuitive. Do any of you guys pick up anything? You want to share? We can share here, make it a sharing community instead of an all about what I get community. I'm happy to share. Hi, Allie. Okay. Let me see. Got it, Allie. All right, perfect. Thanks. Can I just have a general today? Absolutely. Oh, so they said, perfect. She's doing great. She's had a shift in the last week. And they even showed me, even though everything was sort of like chaotic, what was going on around in the world, they showed me like kind of like removing, like shedding an extra skin, removing things that are no longer working for you. Like you finally like let it go for good. In the manifesting community, you often see a lot of people, because it's not just women, a lot of people who are manifesting an SP or a specific person or a special person. And it's oftentimes an X, which I find fascinating. And I can see this struggle. It's really interesting. Like they're working so hard to change X, Y, and Z of this person and like in not really building their own self-esteem and their own love for themselves and respect for themselves. And it's like they're really just going to end up drawing in, because you end up kind of going in this weird cycle where those same old fears, if you don't heal them, are going to come back. And I feel like you've finally like released this belief system this week. Like it's been a big week for you, it feels like. Does that resonate at all? Does that make sense when I say that? Oh, Megumi, I have to put you under Aloha Power. I'll fix that. Thank you. Today's a yucky one. Surprisingly, even though all of the energy is really like, and a lot of people are in fear, like even in my, like with my workout group, because we have a Facebook Messenger group, I felt okay about it. Like, it's not like I'm like okay with what's happening, but I haven't felt fear, panic, or dread, because I know that this is a part of the process in our way to healing, and our way to moving into the direction that we need to move to be a healthier, happier, more inclusive, equitable nation. We sort of have to you have to clean out the mess and shine a light on all really, really dark, ugly parts of it. You've given up on Jose. Well, maybe that's what the shedding is. Maybe that's what the letting go of it is. And maybe it's also giving up on the idea of that he's the only one and the only possibility and all of that, because you know that I've always said this, that I don't believe in soulmates and that there's only one person for you. I do believe with certain people you have stronger connections, but I don't think that you have to be with one specific person in order to work out your stuff that you need to learn while you're here. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. I am really grateful for all of you that come back week after week and hang out with me and support me. I just want to be in this energy because I really like it, and also are willing to pay. I know that for some of you it's tight, but I really do appreciate it because it does. I do try to also donate, because I think that if you have, you should. If you can, you should. Help others. Okay, so Chatterbox doesn't want to go first. Do you have a specific question, Nicole, you want to know about? Because I just feel like there's something specific in there that you're wondering. Like I feel this kind of energy, like, like that's it. Y'all feel sleepy tonight. Y'all have lower energy. It just feels like a sleepy energy tonight. My baby is turning 4 this week. I feel that entertainment have really sold me the idea of soulmates and destiny. Ugh. So, yeah. So here's the thing. I often think that idea of soulmates, or what's the other thing? Twin flames. That the idea of that is kind of put out there because I'm convinced the person who came up with it had this super dysfunctional, like crappy coping mechanisms, and wasn't really willing to look at like all of their history and their belief systems that sort of put them in that situation. So, oh, we're really in love and we fight all the time and there's all this struggle. So like, and we can't be together, but we're twin flames, rather than actually like look at the stuff that's going on with them. They just like came up with this concept to like excuse it. As like a deflection of like having to like actually kind of heal themselves and work on that. That's my theory. And then everybody was like, yes, that's what it is. And I'm kind of like, yeah, that's not what it is. Like, because you're going to have that problem with every single relationship you're in if you don't heal the stuff that you have. Call me practical. I don't know. I just think like a lot of people, all this stuff. Now, destiny. I have a client I'm mentoring, and he told me this really cool story, and I really resonate with it. So maybe I'll have him on here where he can share it. But it's really cool, and it's the idea. I don't want to tell his whole story, but it's the idea. Unless he's watching and he gives me permission, it's the idea that we may have this plan, like, okay, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to be this huge spiritual being, whatever. But you still have a choice to do that or not when you get here. And like, there's the whole idea that you have a purpose. You need to find your purpose. And you see everybody saying this in every spiritual thing, like, you got to find your purpose. This is what you do to find your purpose. And and I've said this before, and I will say it again. Your entire life and every single experience you have is your purpose. It isn't just one thing or one aspect or one goal. It's the whole thing. The whole thing is your purpose. And even if you were planned to come down here and say, be this spiritual guru, whatever, and you decide not to do it, you haven't failed. It's just a choice. It's a road. You're still following the path. There's not one thing you can do to fail at being your experience of being human. You're just in it to experience it, every part of it. There may be things and facets of it where you have the possibility of being this big thing if you want to, but it's still a choice. And no one's going to say like, forget it, you don't get to exist ever again. That's not the way God works. There is no hell. It doesn't work that way. We may put ourselves in our own hell by constantly being negative, but there is none of that. Yeah, I mean, I do think people do sort of know, maybe not even a purpose, just a path that they want to go on. I hate calling it a purpose because I feel like, well, if you don't do it, then have you not, like, there's more reason for you to be here than that one thing. It's every single experience that you're here for. Take the pressure off. Hi, Charlie girl. And like destiny, so destiny to me thinks that like if time is linear, then destiny can exist. But I don't think time is linear. I think time is, everything has already happened and it's all happening at once. And there's like infinite parallel universes where all experiences exist. So really you're experiencing every single thing that's possible all at once. And so there is no really one thing I have to do because you can do everything. I sort of think that in a way for each experience, you might line it up before you walk into the game. Like, this is my plan of where I'm going to be. And maybe you hit some of that big stuff, but I don't know is it destiny? I don't know if everything is possible. I don't know. That one's kind of like still up in the air for me, and it's okay to not know exactly what it is. And it's okay to also not feel like you need to search outside of yourself to everybody else for the answer. And if everybody else is in agreement, then this is okay. Because I have some stuff that I've gotten from my guides that's like definitely not in alignment with anything anybody has said. And I'm still kind of like, I think that's possible. Like, I think some souls can be expunged. Like a glitch in a computer game. And I don't see that anywhere. Okay, so Nicole, did you want a clarification or? Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe just what's the next exciting thing to happen? Oh, you're gonna kill me for this one because they go, she's gonna fall in love with herself. But I think that's actually the next big thing for you, where you're gonna really, really start to like get to know yourself and embrace yourself and appreciate yourself and respect yourself. And then once you have all of that, it's not that you can't fall in love before then. It's not that somebody's not going to love you for who you are before then. It's just that when you do that, you find something that's healthier and somebody who respects you and loves you. And it's not this dramatic push and pull to get them to be that person and go to therapy and do all this. You don't have to go through all of that because you've already found it within yourself and you respect yourself and you love yourself, so that you then attract somebody who respects you and loves you. And it's like, it's just there. I highly recommend working on that and doing that, because it's the idea of marriage and being in a partnership is really awesome. But if you get into the relationship and you're both not healed, it's a fucking struggle and it's really hard. And it's harder to work through your stuff when you're with someone than it is to work through it on your own. And that's the truth. And it doesn't mean you're going to be working through it for 5, 6, 7 years. I feel like a good year of it. And then you like make this huge breakthrough where you like start attracting better quality men after about a year. So that's the timeline I'm getting. So it's like really working on yourself for about a year and then getting this like really good quality group of men where it's almost like I have the pick of the litter and I don't know, like, I don't even know which way to go because I have so many actual like quality options. That's what I'm telling you. Hi, honey. Yes, Nicole, you will. You will reach that point. All right. So I've got Emily Fleshman, Dulcie, Starry Sky. You each have 2 questions. Wait, Emily, are you Chatterbox? No. Is that right? You have a purpose, Chatterbox. Oh, there you are, EF. Okay. You're welcome, Nicole. Okay. Sure, I will tap in. I actually feel right away clairvoyance, but I feel like it's like starting to open. I feel like you're just on the precipice of having it open because I just like such a headache in my head, and you may be having actual headaches from it trying to open. Sorry, I just trying to like pass through that energy because it's not fun. I did a reading for a woman, and she asked about like connecting with actually a whole bunch of people this past week, and like one of them was really interesting the way he made me feel like for a suicide, like my ears hurt really bad, like really bad, and he had hung himself. And I guess I wonder, maybe, I don't know, it's like a weird thing where I'm like, I wonder if that causes your eardrums to somehow yeah, not fun. You've been having headaches. Okay. So that is like sort of what it feels like to me, is like it's trying to open. It's trying to open. I do feel, and clairaudience is a little bit for you too, but I don't feel like you're hearing it as actual voices outside of your head. It feels like hearing things around me, almost like things moving, or thinking I'm hearing something off in the distance, or maybe I think I'm hearing somebody say a name or hello or something like that. But it's not like when I'm drifting off to sleep, it doesn't feel close. It feels like far away enough, so much that I can discount it as something else. The other thing that made me feel is like when I feel my crown chakra open back here versus up here, this to me means my crown chakra was open when I was a child. So I just knew things as a kid, and I sort of shut it down because it kind of freaked me out. It feels like I just knew a lot about people, and then I feel like mom was kind of an influencer on this, of like kind of being like, don't say those things, or you know, like kind of calling things out. And then and random thoughts that's part of like getting the random thoughts as part of your clairaudience. And then so the clairaudience, I feel like, was an actual like decision to kind of damp down what I felt about people and what I knew inherently about people. Cheryl is Chatterbox. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to figure out who's what. Okay. So that's kind of what I feel like is for as far as your abilities. Do you resonate with that? Is that what you were wondering, if that's what was going on? So I think to me, and I think I was talking about that earlier today. I think everybody's kind of empathic. It's like a catchphrase right now. I think everybody is, in the sense of clairsentience, has clairsentience or clairsentience. That's what being empathic means. And I think it's actually, it's more common than not. Like, and they talk about people being introverted. A lot of introverts are very empathic. But to me, I feel like this is pretty across the board for a lot of people. It's very common. So it's just a catchphrase right now. I think a lot of people just ignore it because it's usually so subtle, or they just assume that it's their own stuff, that they just don't realize that that's what's going on. I do, now don't laugh when I say this to you. I do feel like there's a little bit of and I don't mean like, cause like, I hate that women are emotional because of their hormones, but I actually feel like, so everybody sort of has their own PMS symptoms and symptoms when they ovulate, right? Things change throughout. Um, I actually feel like being emotional and being really ultra sensitive is one for you. And it's sort of like a combination of your hormones kind of going, and then also then tapping into the more sensitive side of being empathic and like connecting into a bigger thing. So I think it's kind of a combination for you. Hi, Adriana. Being empathic to me isn't necessarily about being really emotional, by the way. It's about when you walk into a space, if you felt completely fine before you walked into the room, and then you walk in the room and all of a sudden you feel anxiety or you feel stressed or depressed or like super, super happy or whatever, like your energy and the way you feel shifts immediately as you walk into that space, or your energy or the way you feel shifts immediately next as you sit next to somebody. That's more about like knowing that you're an empath or knowing that you're a clairsentient. It's not so much about like the big ups and downs and swings of your moods. Well, so that could be the combination when you say when you were on antidepressants, you had a hard time empathizing with people. That can be a combination of the ones that you were on. They shouldn't dull you so much that you're like have sort of like this flat affect and inability to empathize, right? So there's something maybe with the combination of the what you were on that might have created that. And you can always talk if you ever go on them again and it creates that situation for you. You can always talk to your doctors about that. Empathy is not dropping into tears every time somebody has a hard time, right? That's not empathy. Empathy is understanding how somebody might feel in their shoes and giving them the space to feel that way without judgment and understanding that. You know, it becomes a really unhealthy boundary. It's a lack of boundaries. If every time 10 relations away from you, that person's great grandmother died of a horrible, massive brain aneurysm, you're like, oh my God, that's the worst thing ever. That's not healthy. That's actually a huge lack of boundaries. It's okay to go, yeah, that is really sad. And yeah, that would suck really bad, but I also don't need to absorb and take on all of that as well. I think everybody is an empath, to be very honest with you. I think they just ignore it a lot. So that sometimes is a boundary issue more than anything. And you can learn to like not be that way. Christy, did you pay for a reading? These are paid readings. I feel clairvoyance is trying to open clairaudience and clairsentience. Yeah. Yeah. And I do feel like you have a history of the claircognizance and using that as when you were younger. So if possible, listen, there is no limitation of like, you know, I used to read when I was first starting to open up, that's like, you have two main clairs and that's what you do. And that's how it is. And there's one main one and then a back. Remember that with your abilities and your intuition or anything really, because this is like the idea of manifestation, if that's your belief system, then that's the way it is. And I sort of say, F that, that's not my belief system. My belief system is sort of however they want to get me to give you the message. So if I will best translate that message, if it's best translated so that I can get it through my ears, then I'll do it that way. But if it's easier for you to get me to translate and say the words and the message that you need me to say through clairgustance or clairolience, so clear tasting, clear smelling, then do it that way. You know, whatever, I don't care, except for like I always tell people I don't want anything moved around, like don't move objects. I've only had a few times where I've had objects moved and I was totally okay with it, but normally I'm not. So It's just your belief system. So it's possible you'll open up in other ways and connect in other ways too. It's just and it's also your comfort level. Some people grow to a certain point and they're like, okay, I'm done. This is good. I'm good with where I'm at. Adriana, I crash after being with people too. In fact, I always go grocery shopping at like odd hours. I go like, once I started working as a nurse and working 3 days, 3 12s or 4 12s a week, I would always go at like a random time, or I'd go to the movie theaters when nobody was there and just go by myself. Because it's just exhausting being around a whole bunch of people. When we have family get-togethers here at the house, like the next day or two, I'm really like, I'm just shot. Okay, so let's see. Emily, do you have a second question? That was a pretty long one. You maybe a delay? Okay. Let me check it out. I'll wait for that to load. Do you have any messages from my dog who died almost 3 years ago? Could I have a name? Oh, Serafina. Thank you. You did say that. Okay. It's a little dog that had like a reverse sneeze cough thing, because that's what I keep hearing, and like ear issues. Like I just feel really like lots of pressure here, and I feel little, and I feel very fast, and like kind of crazy hair. Maybe a long-haired Chihuahua, just like really busy, and like a reverse cough sneeze. You can tell me if that's who I'm connecting with right now. I don't normally connect in with animals. Like they normally come in on their own. I don't normally try and reach them. So she was a Beagle Lab mix. Did she have like weird like hair? Like, and did she do a reverse sneeze? Beagle Lab would be bigger than what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something smaller than that. Was she more tan colored? Was there a breathing issue? Okay, hang on. Lily, Chatterbox. This is so weird. It's like coming in different numbers. So I've got, like it shows me one way and then I look back at it and they're in a different order now. Okay, Christy King, I'm guessing that's who Australia is, and Julie. Okay. So a reverse sneeze actually sounds like a cough almost for dogs. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, it's this weird noise. I can't do it. No dog, that's probably why. But it's like it's like a weird sound. And they call them a reverse sneeze, but it's actually like a cough. So this one works better with the picture. You're stretching my abilities tonight. This is a workout. I feel almost barrel chested. Would she have shorter legs but a longer body? Like there's something, and kind of like I feel heavier set. Like I might have actually been obese. I feel like she thought she was smaller than she actually was. Maybe that's why she was showing me a tinier dog. A parasitic infection that couldn't be cured. Would that have caused her having ear and throat issues, like feeling like here? And I feel like a breathing issue. She was a little chunky. Did she also have hip issues? Because I feel like really uncomfortable in my hips. I don't want to make you feel bad, but I feel kind of lonely and sad, like towards the end, like just a little like lonely. Like I don't know if maybe you had a job all of a sudden where you weren't with her as much, but I just felt a little lonely. I feel like her hips, like my hips hurt a lot. Did she, I mean, I know, did she walk like, would she have walked real slow and kind of had like almost a gait that like kind of went like a boat, like side to side is the feeling I get. Yeah. Because she feels sad at the end. Like it's okay. I don't feel like did she also have, they call it hoary, the little graying on their muzzle? And I feel like almost like a cataract in my eye. Yeah. Okay. So then I'm with her. Um Maybe this is a little friend that brought her through. She's okay. She doesn't feel like I'm mad at you. She's just telling me how she felt. I actually feel like you see her around maybe in the corner of your eye. She may come back to you as another animal, like another small dog, but smaller this time. Yeah, her eyes were getting foggy. Okay, that's just part of aging. That's so it sounds like the way that I'm getting her described is that she was actually lived a pretty good long time. She had the graying of her muzzle and a little bit of cataract. Like I don't feel like I was a young dog when I passed. Um, she's okay. I actually feel like at the end, like it feels like I had a smell about me and you could never get rid of it. Like you try and bathe me and then you felt really bad. And it's sort of like, don't feel bad. Um, she's okay. She's around you. Listen, she has to love you enough if she's wanting to come back to you in a like as another dog. 8 or 9's a pretty good old age. Um, Especially with like a lab beagle mix and then having other stuff going on. Did she like watermelon? I keep feeling like watermelon. And then was there something on her front left leg, like on the lower part of her front left leg, like maybe like a callousy? I don't feel like it's a hot spot. It feels like when some dogs get those like I don't know, it's like a callus or something. Yeah. Just don't feel guilty about it. She's okay. Her paw, yeah, it's like a rough, like I don't know, but it feels like it's more on her leg rather than on her paw. It's like right above her joint where her paw would hit. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta like move on because you're only my second person and we're 40 minutes in. But she's okay. Um, I'm thanking her for coming through. Um, she's okay. She's with you. You know, shouldn't have any guilt or anything around that. Okay. Um, if she's wanting to come back and be around you and she's still around you, she's okay. All right. So Dulcie, Starry Sky, you guys are up. And I might go ahead and why don't we close the list just because it's late and I still have so many to go through. So after Julia's Armani, and that's it. So Armani, you're last. So the list will be closed. Allie, you're on here. Don't worry. I gotcha. You're after Aloha Power or Megumi. Laura. Laura, I don't have you on the list. Let me see. God darn it. I don't know why this is so weird tonight. It literally is like flipping around on me. You're Dulcie. Gosh darn it. Eventually, I'm going to get that in my head. Okay. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Eventually, it's going to stick, and I'm just going to know, like I do with Starry Sky now. Okay. Yes, Emily, I got it. I have you on the list after Allie. Okay. So, all right. What did you ask? Should I contact Shane to get the paperwork started? I feel like yes. But I feel like it might not start till like the first week of February. So there's still some sort of delay. Whatever your paperwork is, there's still a little bit of delay, but it'll get started and get rolling. And then I feel like whatever needs to be done, it goes through a smooth path from that point. I know you did. Ask another question. Carly, you asked, should you go to Canada in April or August? And I keep getting pulled towards April. It was the first when I first asked the question, so I'm just answering yours right now, unless you decided you wanted a different question. Should I take this master's degree? How about we'll ask it this way? Would it be in your highest good to take the master's degree? Because I don't like to say should you, because you're asking them that way. So is it my highest? Or is it in my best interest? Would I benefit from it? Because if you ask me, should you do something, that's sort of asking me to tell you what to do. And that's not very empowering, right? I feel like you will, but I feel like when you get to the part where you're writing your thesis and then you have to, what do they call it? Prove it, or where you go and present it. I feel like from the time I start my thesis, it's like there's a delay to when I end it and I go and challenge it. I don't know what the heck the term is. I can't remember. When you go do that thing, I feel like there's a delay there a little bit, like just life kind of is busy and I can't sit down and focus on it as quickly as I'd like to, but I do feel like you'll do it. Are you doing it to go into administration? Like to be defending? Thank you. I'm like, I don't know, challenging. Yeah. When you go to defend it, there's like, so it'll be like, there's like from the time you start your thesis, like you think, oh, I'll be defending it on this date or whatever. And it just gets pushed back a little bit. Life maybe gets a little too busy. It doesn't feel like there's big tragedy and that's why I can't do it. It just feels like life is a bit busier than I had anticipated. And so I just have to kind of drag it out a little bit, but you do. You're welcome. Okay, I'll look at investments in a minute. You're a little bit further down the list. Okay, Aloha Power, Megumi. So Starry Sky, Tracy, Carly, are you here? You are. Oh, Carly's defending. That's when we said it. Did you want that question? Was that okay for you for your answer for April? It's weird too, because it feels like, with like the whole pandemic and everything, you think you would like wait, but it feels like it'll be okay to go in April. And it sounds strange, but like an opportunity for a good deal on a place to live. Like it feels like you're going to get a good deal on an apartment or something. Oh, Armoni paid for the question already. Okay, you've been looking into apartments, so it makes sense. Okay, yeah, I feel like whatever reason, there's like a good deal in April versus August. Okay, Starry Sky, you're up. Oh, Tracy. Okay, I can choose another question if this is too much, but I was curious if my guides could tell you about a past life of mine, particularly one I may have brought baggage into for this lifetime. So maybe what might be creating a block. So I'm going to tell you this, what I found about my experiences of, and maybe other people have different experiences. So take it for what it's worth. You're welcome, Carly. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to look at yours, but I just want to because sometimes people go, oh, I brought this and I have to work through it in this lifetime. And oh my God. Again, there's always so much drama around everything. And I think that it's all way more simple than we allow it to be. And I don't know why we humans overcomplicate things. Maybe we like drama. I don't know. Yes, I think sometimes we take things, but more often than not, most of the stuff that blocks us is the stuff that we pick up here. So, two instances where I can tell you past lives blocked me. So one of them was I developed a really weird fear of flying around the age of 25, 26, 27. I could not figure it out because I'd flown since I was a little girl. There was no reason for me to be afraid of flying. I hadn't done any crazy stunts. I have a fear of heights, but it's not like I was out and had some crazy accident or something that would make me be afraid of planes. And it was well after 9/11. So it wasn't related to that. And I logically know planes are very safer than cars. I still don't like little 4-seaters, and I don't like helicopters. That's another story. But flying on planes was never an issue, and I couldn't figure out, and I kept having this weird recurring dream. And I think it was another lifetime. I hate to say past life, because then past life says that everything is linear, and I don't believe it. So it was another existence experience as a being, and I definitely don't think it was an Earth experience, because I was on some kind of craft that I was standing, and it felt more almost like a saucer if you think about it. It was round and it was large, and we were in some kind of canyon, but it was similar to what Grand Canyon would be, but it was bigger than the Grand Canyon. And I was standing there and we were fine, and then all of a sudden we're veering towards the side of the canyon. And every time I'd wake up, still had the fear of flying. And finally, when I saw it to its finale, where it was just we hit and then everything went black, and sort of so no pain, no a lot of us are fearful of the experience itself. I was no longer afraid of flying. It was gone. So I think that in that experience of that lifetime, I was around the age that I was in this lifetime that it was kind of occurring. The second time, where it was a past life other experience, several lifetimes I lost children, and I was having a hard time getting pregnant with my first child. It was just taking longer. There was nothing wrong with me. And I had to go through this, it's okay to be a mom, it's okay not to be a mom, where it's you sort of take away the, you neutralize the energy of it. And I also did, in this one lifetime, I was by a river washing my clothes, and I had 2 children, and one child slipped into the water and drowned because I had turned my back and I didn't see him. And I ended up, my husband wouldn't talk to me. It was all this very, very sad. I ended up killing myself in that lifetime because it was just too much. So once I sort of went through seeing that, And it wasn't, I was just through a meditation that I did that. It wasn't like I didn't go to anybody to release or whatever. It just was gone like that. Um, and I got pregnant right away. But it was like all of those things that I hold on to. So I don't think there's something that's like major, fully holding you back. Now getting back to you and redirecting it to you. The one thing I'm really being brought to is your jaw. Like I almost feel like this is weird. So I don't know if you have TMJ in this lifetime. I feel like there was a lifetime where you were actually, your jaw was actually broken and wired shut. But it feels like really archaic. It doesn't feel like a modern dentistry type thing that's been done. And it almost feels like it happened because I either said something, like it wasn't like an accident. It feels like it was on purpose. Like I either said something, it was like to keep me silenced. It wasn't because I had some horrible fall and everything else. So it feels like, if anything, I brought that into this lifetime of, oh, okay. Not standing up for myself, not validating things for myself, not speaking out for myself. But I even brought the experience back again, even with my parents, where I felt like I wasn't being heard. I'm not able to, my emotions don't matter. Everything's sort of dismissed. It's sort of like that, sort of, to me feels like, so it's like learning to open up and advocate for myself is like my big thing that I need to like kind of release. Does that ring true with you, or does that resonate when I say all of that? Now that I've given you this whole like history of my own stuff. I think it's important that we share our experiences, though, also when we're in this position of having these abilities and sharing them with people so that they understand that also they may be having experiences that other people are having. Because I think when I was first opening up, you have jaw issues, and yes, the childhood. Okay, so that's where it feels like to me. So it's sort of like, I'm like, oh my God, releasing all say like, so you would say like, in all directions of time and space, all planes of existence, all lifetimes that I've ever experienced, I release that need of being punished for speaking out for myself, for yes, a punishment to keep you quiet in the past. Yeah. And it feels archaic. So it feels like a time where sort of like that tortury human thing was like pretty common. So it feels like releasing that and letting that go is really important. But anyway, I was just saying, sharing our own experiences is really important too, because I think I had so many things that I was experiencing as I was trying to grow, and there was really no one to ask or say, is this normal? And like nobody shared experiences in a certain way. Like it was very general and like, this is how it is. And like, and there was no like unique cases. And I felt like I always sort of was the outliner but I always joke that I'm sort of the anomaly. Like if somebody says something's not going to happen, I'm like, it'll happen to me. Like we were learning to open glass ampules to draw out medication. And I was like, has anyone ever shattered one of these? And I go to pop it and it shatters and like cuts my hands. But my professor was like, no. Of course, I was like that. So I'm the anomaly anyway. All right, Tracy. So you're welcome. Starry Sky, do you have any questions? Are you still here? Thanks, guys, for hanging in here with me through all the rambling. Shaheen, Starry Sky, Shaheen, you guys have questions? Devry. Can I tell you how to sleep? With your head on a pillow? So Shaheen, Devry, Starry Sky, you guys are up. What can you read this? Shaheen, Starry Sky, Devry, Lily, if you want to put yours in. Mechanical Mermaid, if you really, it's okay. You don't have to delete. It's not harassing or anything. I'm trying to figure out what, I don't understand the questions, I guess. I'm not clear what you're inquiring about. Okay, so Starry Sky, what does Spirit think you should focus on in 2021? Yourself. You've spent a lot of time worrying about everybody around you and sort of putting everybody and like organizing everything and making sure everybody else was okay. And you sort of haven't spent a whole lot of time working on yourself. That's why we end up oftentimes developing physical disease or dysfunction because we don't deal with the spiritual dis-ease. There have been scientific studies that have proven over and over and over again that stress, which is an energetic psychological thing, right? That's not really does create physical illness, right? When we don't, like when they talk about longevity, now there's studies that are coming out that it's not just about and your having good cognitive function as you age. It's not just about doing crossword puzzles, it's about human connection. So if you're always sad and having a hard time connecting humans and all of that, you end up developing dis-ease, physical dis-ease. Don't hide Mechanical Mermaid unless it's something really inappropriate, because I would like to read it. I'm just because I don't understand if they're actually trying to have a question, or I did have somebody write some weird review once, and I didn't know if maybe I missed something that they were quite offended by me. And okay. I just don't know. I just want to see what it is first and kind of not that I don't trust you. I just the question didn't seem like a harassment. I was trying to figure out if it was like they want a reading, then they need to go wait till next week, or I just didn't understand. Um, so yeah, it feels like really focusing on yourself, Starry Sky, and like doing your own work. I do actually see you exploring more of your intuitive side, kind of like on your own, kind of working on developing and connecting in with your guides, doing more meditative work. One is a way to sort of center yourself, but two, it just sort of kind of happens and blossoms. And it feels like I feel this, like my Clara voyance kind of opening up here like this and just getting some really lovely visions. You had two questions. Did you want to ask another one? And while I'm waiting for you, I'll answer. Devry, where did you go? You wrote down your question. I think you said just a general, right? Yeah, just a general for Devry. Have your ears been ringing a lot lately? Yeah, because I felt that. I was like, "Ooh." Um, so this feels like, just so you're not like panicking, it feels like getting like downloads of information. So it feels like your dreams are going to be really active and really vivid. But I also feel like I'm starting to see things that maybe or having memories that feel sort of like disarming or alarming, or not disarming, alarming, or it makes me really feel uneasy. Does that reckon? Do you? Oh, no, second question. You're welcome, Starry Sky. It feels like it's really unsettling. Does that make any sense when I say that? I guess they didn't want to stay. KK. Sorry, I wasn't trying to scold you. I was just trying to figure out like, is there a language barrier where maybe English isn't the first language, so then I'm misunderstanding the way it's kind of getting typed out, which is totally fine. I'm willing to work with that. And I wanted to be clear on it. I didn't want to just push someone away. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. So, are they memories from childhood? Because the reason why I say that while I'm waiting for you to answer is because it's just the feeling of it's time to let that go. And it's also understand is that you don't have to be afraid of those images or feel like that panic because it's the worst part is over, is the feeling. The worst part is over. So it's time to work on healing that little girl and holding her and loving her and telling her everything is okay so that you can sort of move forward and kind of heal as an adult. Um, I will always say this because I'm not a therapist. Um, um, Therapy is a gift. It is a gift to yourself. It can do if you, and it's not about like, oh my God, because I was worried before I started therapy. Like I tried to go to one of the college counselors and like, let's be honest about that. But when I wasn't really, really ready to do the work, and two, it was not a good fit for me. So you ask the universe to help you find the right person, that bring you the right person. You've been doing Roxy Talks affirmations. Okay. So do that, but it's also, so I think doing those affirmations has actually been helping you kind of open up and heal. And I think that that's really beautiful, but don't be, if you really get to the point where you feel like I should talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Cause that will help you too. But I think you're in for a really, big year as far as I feel like the next 2 to 3 months are going to be really big growth for you and expansion and releasing. So it may be emotionally kind of like this for you. Understand that like crying and like big ugly sobbing is cleansing and releasing, and it's really good for you. So like allow it and move through, and anger too. Like it's okay to get angry and like feel all of those emotions and like get them out. I'm not saying like get angry and taking it out on someone else, but like to be angry about a situation or something that happened. That doesn't mean you're not being zen about it. It's like you have to move all of that through your body, because again, if you hold on to it and you think like, oh, but that's not spiritual. Spiritual is being calm and like forgiving. No, you have to go through all of the emotions. You have to go through all of that and get it out of your body. You'll get to the forgiving point, and the forgiving point isn't like it's okay that that happened. It's like it happened, and I'm allowing myself to release the anger from it because I'm no longer going to be prisoner to that anymore. That's what forgiving is. Like I'm not going to keep being angry at that person that did that to me because that's only holding me prisoner. Okay. So it's not this like really like everything's beautiful, but everything's really beautiful because you're like finally moving through some of the massive healing that you've been needing to do and sort of been trying to find your way to. You're there. Okay, so Shaheen, is there any general message or anything I should know from my spirit guides? Lily, if you want to start typing your question, Chatterbox, you're up too. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting like cross traffic. I don't know any other way to explain it. So anybody here who's watching, by the way, that I'm mentoring, I just want to tell this because I just thought about it. So sometimes I turn my body. It's not because it's just to shift my energy so I'm like could focus on something. So even when I'm on the platform for church services, there'll be like 4 to 5 of us, of the reverends up there giving messages. When someone else is giving a message, oftentimes when I'm trying to connect or get information, I usually step back out of the lineup, and I will stand a foot back or so, and kind of I'll close my eyes and I'll do this as a way, like, so don't think it's weird. It's just a way to filter out and like anything so that I can hear clearly and fully. So sometimes when I do this, it's just a way to like the cross traffic, because sometimes you're getting too many different variables coming in at you at once. So I'm just giving you guys that as a tip. That's like, and if you're wondering why I do this kind of stuff, it's not because I'm like, it's just trying to filter out any cross information I'm picking up. This is kind of strange, but you have a grandmother and a grandfather in spirit, and it could be great, but I'm thinking it's grandmother and grandfather. And I feel like the grandmother feels like kind of tinier, maybe 5'2", 5'3". She's got a hat on, and she's like dressed nice. And I feel like she bickers with grandpa a lot. Like there's like a back and forth. Like she's like tried to come through to say something to me, and she's like, and I think this is grandfather, and they're like she's kind of smacking him and saying like, get back. Like it's like she's like telling him to stop. It's her birthday today. It's her turn. Did they bicker a lot? Because she's like trying to come through, and I don't know if one of them had a cane, but there's a cane involved here. Not like smacking him over the head, but like this back and forth. Okay, so well, your grandmother's here. Happy birthday, Grandma. But you didn't call her Grandma. What did you call her? She's funny because I feel like she likes to be like, she likes to celebrate her birthday. So I felt like what are we going to do for my birthday? What are like she wanted, whereas like I'm kind of like, we don't really like, I don't usually tell people when my birthday is. I don't usually like, it's like I on Facebook, like I don't have my birthday on there because the people that know my birthday, they'll text me or whatever. Like I don't need a whole bunch of people from random spots in my life needing to tell me a happy birthday. I feel like it's nice and it's lovely and it's kind and all of that. But at the same time, I also feel like then I'm like glued to telling people thank you the whole day. Abuelita. Okay. Cause I'm like, it doesn't feel like, but did she have like more melanin in her skin? Like, I just feel like her skin tone is a little bit darker. I don't feel like I'm on the lighter side. So I don't know if you're, Dominican maybe? Oh, I saw her near you when I first met you. You're Dominican. Okay. Cause she has darker skin color. It's like a little bit darker tone. She's fiery and feisty. So I feel like the big message here is you're Peruvian. Okay. Well, that would make the darker skin tone too. And the tininess would make sense too with Peruvian. I feel like the big takeaway for you here is not like there's this like, but to remember that your family and your loved ones are with you and around you all the time. And so even though you may feel very lonely, sometimes understand that like you have a team of people working for you. So when you feel like I'm all alone trying to like make it through this mess and like, is anybody hearing me? Is anybody around me? You have a team of spirits on the other side working and trying to like make everything fall into your favor. Listen, I am never alone. There's always something going on. Always. But it's also really beautiful because I also know like I'm never alone. Like the universe is always conspiring in my favor. And I've got a team of people always, or energies always working to make sure everything's falling into place for me. You're welcome. Okay, so Chatterbox, you said yours was at way up there. Can you just retype it for me so I don't have to scan back? It just makes it easier. Please. Lily, you're up. Megumi, your question now. Ali. Lily, Megumi, Ali. Lily posted. No, I understand, but sometimes it's just, sometimes it's easier than me having to scroll back and find it. Maybe I'm being lazy. I don't know. I feel like it's taking me a little time. I learned that my son's friend lost his mother. Oh, back in November. I didn't know her well, but we did meet up and we chatted. Does she have any messages for you? Thanks, Harmony. You know what? I spent like the first year doing these and like scrolling all over the place, and I've gotten spoiled. So that's the truth. And I don't miss scrolling all over the place trying to find everything, like at all. Okay, so was there a respiratory and a jaw issue? So would she have been in some sort of accident that might have like penetrated, crushed, and done something here? Because it just feels that's where I'm being pulled. And no need to apologize, by the way. I know you were trying to be helpful. Like when I sit this way, this arm looks really huge. Sorry. I also feel like when I lean back, it's like weird camera angles. You don't know. Do you know enough detail? Because for me, when they come through, they're going to come through and let me know like a lot of medical stuff. And I think it's just like, because I'm always like, how did you die? Like, because that to me is a very specific thing that I can get for validation that I'm connecting with the right person. So sometimes when you don't know enough about person, it's hard for me because then I feel like, especially in this forum where I'm like really pulling to connect, like for me, I don't feel her that strongly. And so immediately what I felt was jaw, chest, and like a weird twinge. I'm doing this here. Okay. Do you know if she had respiratory issues? Do you know if they did CPR on her? Because that would create a crushing chest thing. She may have also had some kind of jaw, neck, head, weird pain that you can't validate. So this makes it a little harder. So that there might have been that with that, but do you know if they ended up doing CPR at a point? That's like something you may not know. So they like, because just because they induce a coma, like all of that, she could have started to crash and they're doing CPR on her, and that would have created a respiratory issue and feel like a crushing pain. You don't. So it's hard for me to like get the validation and connect in. And it may be that she just doesn't have a message for you. That's why I'm not getting enough of a like, please tell her da 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 da. And I also feel like her family truly doesn't really believe in all of this. So for me to pass along a message for you to do that would be inappropriate. That it would create more upset and discord than it would be beneficial. Do you have another question you want to try? Right. But I don't know that that's appropriate. I don't know that they really believe in that, to be honest with you. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just, so when I'm out in public or with certain people, I always know if they're cool with all of this, because like that's when spirit comes through. They will not come through to me if somebody is not okay with it. I will not get information or messages for somebody if somebody's not okay with it. My husband's best friend, totally not into this stuff. I'm pretty sure they make fun of me behind my back. But I never get anything for him. I've gotten one thing for him one time. And I kind of gave it to him in a random way. It didn't seem like such a message. Okay. So ask your questions. What do my spirits see for me in the coming month? Okay. I guess I didn't look to see how many, but okay. So honestly, I feel like much more of the same. I still don't think that they're going to go back to school in February. I feel like the numbers are going to still be too high for them to start in February. I feel like it may be more like March, April. I do feel like I don't know if you're wanting to get the vaccine, but I feel like by March you'll have your vaccine. It feels like, so I don't know if that means it's the second one or the first one, but I feel like vaccinated by March. And so feeling like this weight lifted off of me and feeling better about it and able to go back to work. But I still don't think they're going to start in February. I got to be honest with you. I will be shocked if we go back to school in February as hybrid. Maybe March, like right before spring break. And then I'm not sure. I got to be honest. You will get the vaccine. Lots of pressure around this. I know that a lot of parents are really wanting it. I just feel like the numbers are going to be such that it's going to be like, not sure. And I also don't feel like enough of the staff is vaccinated in order for it to be like justifiable through the teachers union to say like, now you have to come back to work. I do feel like they're really encouraging the staff to get vaccinated. If it's not mandatory this year, I feel like it will become a mandatory thing. And I actually feel like they're going to start making it mandatory for school too. At least for a couple of years while it's, because I feel like, and another person said this too, COVID will be around. Like I have always said that I felt like COVID will be endemic, like the flu. And I feel like for a little while they will encourage people, if not make it mandatory for school. Oh, I know parents are pushing to go back to school now. The 19th of January? But I thought they weren't starting until February. I will be surprised if they start back. My kids aren't going back. I'm one of the, nope, you can stay home until. Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of people who didn't realize how much work their kids are. The 25th of January, I thought it was until February. Maybe I just don't pay attention. So, did you have another question since I couldn't really answer the one about Jody? Chatterbox, what was your question? Where do you see me in a year? Okay. Oh, Jan, I'm sorry. Um, okay, so Chatterbox, where do I see you in a year? Um, that was interesting. So I do feel like you're working on manifesting, and I feel like hitting a roadblock with as far as that's concerned, like sort of focusing on figuring out how to get rid of the blocks to really kind of like grow and do that better. But then I also heard helping people. So I don't know if you're somehow doing some kind of volunteer work or, um, but it feels like, or maybe like some kind of assistant helping people. But it doesn't feel like in an office, it feels like I'm either tutoring or it's something, but it feels more academic-y than it does feel like feeding someone in a nursing home. It feels like, or maybe helping adults with like English as a second language, but I feel like I'm somehow either volunteering or doing something where I feel like I'm really giving back to other people. Does that resonate with you, Chatterbox? Which is strange because you have your YouTube stuff. This is interesting because this feels like out of your wheelhouse, like totally different. So I'm going to wait for you to validate on that. I'm going to go back to Lily and do her, how do I see Jason's job launching? It feels like a little bit of a rocky start because I feel like maybe not realizing uh, how organized he has to be. Like, I feel like fairly unorganized person, but I just feel like not realizing all the facets of running it. And so it becomes a little bit rocky, feeling a little bit like disorganized and disoriented. But then, like, smoothing out, like it's, it doesn't feel like I lose. It's like because he's smart enough to understand how to look up all the laws, like tax laws and all that stuff. But it just feels like not realizing like how much work certain people do and how important they are. Like just not really, not because he's like not smart enough to figure out, but just like because he was so focused on one area, like kind of missing the details here. So it feels like a little bit of a rocky start because of that, but not because of financially. Just needing to hire someone to come in and work for him and help him out with all of that kind of the day-to-day tasks that maybe he thought he could handle on his own, and then kind of it gets smoother and is fine. um, and it feels like maybe the first 2 to 3 months were a little rocky and then kind of like goes, okay, I need to really get somebody in here and hire someone, either someone else or someone to help me. um, Chatterbox, can you validate any of what I gave you, or does it sound about right? Let's see. Megumi, Aloha Power. Could you please give me yours? Allie, Emily. You're welcome. Thank you. My God, she's like a mess. My 4-year-old cracks me up. We went to see lights at Six Flags. We drove like an hour and 15 minutes to do 20 minutes of a drive-through light. It was like, oh, my kids were like, ah. But April would go, Mom, stop the car. It's just funny. And then she started telling one of the people who's dressed up as an elf that she wore her troll shoes. She's yelling out the window, Happy New Year! I wore my troll shoes. What could I work on myself? Okay. And then Megumi, did you? Oh, there you are. Okay. Various things are not smooth about investments and financial issues. Any messages overall for me, please? Megumi, I feel like they just keep saying have patience with that. Like have patience, have patience. Like if you put money in, I don't know if you've got like E-Trade or something, stocks, something like that. But it's like just have patience with it. It's not going to double overnight. Um, and I know this is what you want to hear. Do the affirmations because it feels like because you know all of this stuff with manifesting and the thoughts and all that. We talked about that, right? So it just feels like there's a Roxy Talks has a really good money affirmations one. Just do that and like sort of a shift every time you start to feel a twinge of like feeling like the money's dropping out from underneath me or I have money problems, you're creating more of that. So it's like just go and listen to that. Just kind of repeat it in your head. I actually tried on one of my manifestation boards to find somebody who does manifestations in Japanese for you that would help you. Because I always think like if it's in your native language and your first language, then it's easier, kind of programs in easier. But at the same time, you speak fairly well. You understand me well enough that you should be able to do it. I was dreaming in Spanish when I was in Spain for, within a week of being there and living with a family. So I feel like it should reprogram it the same way, right? Even if it's like, she doesn't speak so fast, so it should be okay for you. But I feel like really doing that because it feels like it's really like I get in that worry space and then I sort of send that out to the universe instead of like stopping it in its tracks and like redirecting it. It also feels like stop checking it incessantly. Stop looking at it incessantly because it's creating more panic and fear. Does that make sense to you when I say that stop checking or stop looking at it or focusing on it incessantly or constantly? Chatterbox, I don't know that you'll go into psychology, but I just feel like it's like something that, and you may even get paid a little bit of money for it, but it just to make you feel like it's like giving back and like feeling a lot better about it. But it feels more than just getting donations and stuff. It feels like human interaction and doing something on a more personal level. Okay. So that's the feeling I get for you is like, that's what you really need to do is sort of like refocus. Like it's like redirect yourself like you do with a little kid when they get really upset and they sort of get fixated on something, you just kind of redirect them to something else, to a next project or the next thing. That's what I feel like is like with my daughter, when she gets really stressed out about something, I go, okay, see your angel with a basket, place all of your care, like place everything in that basket and know that they're going to take care of those. You don't have to worry about it. And we do a breathing technique and everything else. And it feels like when you start to focus on the money, go to the affirmations and just start saying them over and over and over again. And when you go to that, like, I'm checking, go back to the affirmations and do the affirmations over and over and over again. I feel like it'll help you kind of calm that ego brain. What could I do to work on myself? Allie, this is for you. Okay, so this is another affirmations thing for you. Go to Roxy Talks. She's got some really nice ones for self-esteem because it just feels like unrespect. Like they said, that really, really build and work on your self-esteem. And you're like, it's like you tell yourself inside your head that people aren't going to like you or people aren't going to approve of me or accept me or they don't really want to hear what I have to say. It's like these constant negative things and they're sort of like, go in and do the affirmations and reprogram that because that's kind of like keeping that at bay, even though you want people to like you, but you're sort of telling the story and sending that out to the universe that those things aren't working for you. And that to me, they're saying is like, that's the thing that will really shift you and kind of move you into a better space to feeling better about yourself and being like a little more fulfilled and happy in life. It's just kind of changing that simple thing there. It doesn't feel like it's like major work. It just feels like kind of reprogramming the inner dialogue that you have. Emily, Christy, Julie, and Armoni, if you want to write your questions. Oh, Aloha Power, that was the self-esteem was for Allie. But if you want to do that too. Allie, did you get that? You got it. Okay, good. Any messages or advice for Emily? Are you still feeling nauseous? Excuse my yawn. You're welcome, Chatterbox. Sure, Christy. Emily, are you still feeling nauseous? Yes. Okay. It's going down. Okay. Oh. Did you have like right upper quadrant pain? So this would be, I think I'm nearer for you, right? So your right upper quadrant of your abdominal area. So this would like if you start at your belly button and make a cross at your belly button, right? Would be like right by your right bottom of your right rib. Were you having discomfort with that when you were having the nausea? Because I just felt like, because I'm like, what is going on? What is that? And I just felt like there might actually be a little bit of a gallbladder issue for you. Have you stopped eating so many like or you've been eating like, healthier, a little bit cleaner, not as much fried fatty food will cause that, or really heavy, rich, baked goods, sugary things. You weren't feeling any pain or gassy, like real burpy. It might be worth going and having somebody kind of look at it and see if that's an issue for you. Maybe a little inflammation in your gallbladder or something going on. Definitely, if you notice any pain with it, please go get it checked out. But were you also like kind of real gassy and burpy? Sorry. I think you're kind of anonymous here, right? Somebody doesn't roll up on you in the street and be like, Emily, how's it going? Burpee, yes, I stopped dairy. Okay, it might be that there might be a little bit of like a gallbladder irritation. So just if you notice when you're eating fried fatty foods, really kind of harder to digest foods, dairy can be harder to digest for some people. There might actually be a gallbladder inflammation. So if that comes up where you're feeling that way again, especially just go get it checked out. You're at the age where it wouldn't be uncommon for it to be an issue. I don't know why they're bringing that up, but that's sort of like what I feel like is your message right now, is to like keep an eye on that. And I don't know why when you were asking about it before, I didn't pick it up, but I just wasn't coming through that way for me. I feel like you're doing better as far as like feeling. I just feel like this release, like less stress, like everything's like feeling like everything's kind of going to get better. And just sort of like kind of going with the flow. I still don't see a job coming in right now. Like, as I was asking, like, is she going to get a job? Is there? And it just feels like, no, I'm actually okay. And I'm coasting. And I'm doing okay where I'm at. Like something's there, but no pain? What do you mean? You were feeling uneasy on my lower abdomen. No. The pain would be, I'd be concerned about pain upper right quadrant or epigastric pain, which would be here in the center. Okay. So then I think their big thing is just to kind of keep an eye on that. So if you notice it start to kick up again, please go get that checked out. Okay, Christy wants to know about her financial stuff for a year. Is that it? Oh, finances for this year. Thank you for your patience, Christy, all the way from Australia. And everybody else who's still hanging in with me. This is interesting. Your guide actually has an Australian accent. That's funny. It's a female too. So they said good. So finances will be good this year. Things will be picking up for you a little bit in March, but there's a little dip in May. So I don't know if it's like maybe you get commission or something like that, but it just feels like there's a little like a bump or a bonus or something in March. And then there's a little bit of a dip in May, but everything comes back normal by June. So it's not like, and I feel like coasting, smooth sailing. So I don't feel like I'm struggling. I don't feel like I'm needing to like shift money around in order to make things work. I just feel like smooth sailing. I don't feel like any really big windfall or like a big windfall of money or anything. But I do feel like kind of tinkering around with manifesting this year for you and like kind of figuring out how that works and getting to like see kind of some stuff. So like I feel like I'm tinkering. I don't feel like so it feels like trying to get little bits because I'm not quite past the idea that money can just come to me in any way I want it to and easily. Like so it feels like that's kind of what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm coasting and smooth sailing. I feel like again do well in March and then a little bitty dip in May and I'm okay. Yeah. I actually feel like by middle of May next year, like middle of the year next year, you're sort of on board with it and kind of understanding how it works and getting better at it. But this year is like sort of tinkering with it, not like full on board with it just yet. So Julie and Armoni, either one of you. If you're still here, thanks for your patience. You're welcome, Christy. Thanks for joining. I hope that you subscribe and hang out. Come see us again. You don't have to always get a question. You can just, if you also, if you go to my website, guys, and you subscribe to my website for our email list, I send out an email basically once a week to remind you of this, that you can sign on, but I put you in a drawing to win a free reading. I'm giving a reading to one of those people tomorrow. So yeah. So it's a free reading once a month, or I'll pick one person for a 30-minute reading each month. Okay. Julie, did you do, hang on, I'm just checking. Oh, you ended up paying for a second question. You turkey, Armani. That's fine. Okay. Oh, thank you, Christy. I'm so glad you watched. Thanks. And thank you everybody for just being supportive. Um, okay, so Julie uses any messages from spirit guides. Okay. Are you struggling with being on time to things? Because they just told me you're struggling with being on time to things. So that was like very clear the way it came through. And they said it's sort of a form of self-sabotage for you because it feels like it's more of a problem now than it is like was in the, I don't know, but it's like, it's not out of, it's really interesting because it doesn't feel like it's out of like not caring they can wait kind of thing. Some people are like that. It feels like it's like a little bit of like subconscious self-sabotage. And they're sort of like, stop thinking you need to do like this, and this, and then I'm going to leave. It's like, just stop and just go do it. Cause it feels like, I don't know what you're doing, but it's like that, like they just said to me, they'll love you. I don't know what that means or why they're saying it this way, but they said they'll love you. Are you interviewing or doing something where you're doing presentations for people? Do you have social anxiety? It's that feeling of like feeling very self-conscious, very nervous, like you don't have, wait, is the no to my, sorry, because the timing is totally different. So is the no to the social anxiety or the no to self-sabotage? Or, I mean, the like interviewing thing, whatever. But it's like, for some reason, it's like they'll love you. You're an introvert. Maybe that's what they'll love you about it. Just, it feels more work related than it does feeling like a social thing. So does this ring true for being work related? It's weird because I feel like, I don't know. It's just like, so it might not be like an interview, like you're thinking of it interviewing for a job, but like my husband's in construction and they have to go do a presentation, in order to like when a company is like bidding out for a job. You need to work on your book. Maybe that's what it is. They'll love you. So it's like, quit trying to find other things to do what you're doing and just do it. Like, quit doing the self-sabotage stuff. Are you trying to send your stuff out in order to get, uh, okay. Like, I don't know if you need to have a literary agent for what you're doing um, or if you're trying to self-publish, but it also feels like when are you looking to get published by a publishing house or are you self-publishing? Because it just feels like not having fear or concern over if you're going to be good enough or if they're going to like your personality or whatever else. You ignored it for a long time. You're looking both. Okay. I strongly encourage you to look for a literary agent, and get published. Um, over self-publishing. And I think that's the part of they'll love you too. I do feel like by the end of the year, you're sort of like, if you're not completely done with it, you'll be there. So that's another manifesting thing. Like it's easy to write this. It flows from me naturally and easily. I always find the perfect time to write. So then you don't have to get stuck on like, oh, I've got all these other things to do. Hi, Regine. Oh, I hope your mom's okay. Armoni, here, let me answer your questions and then we're done. Sorry this went really, really long, guys. Can you see what's going on with Deuce? You ever get in a committed relationship? And my second question is, will accept FDU? It's a college. Yes for college. I feel like no for Deuce. So I feel like with Deuce, it's more just like not like you're settling for second best kind of thing. Like you're settling for eh. And it'll be one of those things that you'll look back and be like, oh my God, like I'm so glad it didn't work out. Don't we all look back at things and go, why did we accept that? Why did we allow that behavior? That's what it's going to be like. But I feel like definitely for FDU, I do feel like it might be like an off time of when I get accepted. So maybe I get accepted. No, maybe it is. Maybe I get accepted. I don't know when you have to have your applications in to go in for the fall, but it feels like by February, maybe late March, like maybe into March where I get accepted and starting in the fall. Does that resonate? You submitted last week. Okay. So I feel like pretty soon you should know. I don't feel like it's a late, like forever and ever. So you should know. And I feel like what'll happen is you'll sort of become like a little bit more focused on that. And then Deuce kind of falls to the wayside. They have an early decision in January. So I feel like you should find out by February. But there's something else in March. So I don't know if you're like eligible for a scholarship or something like that, but I feel like you're going to get some other part to that in March. So you may find out that you get a scholarship or something like that. Okie dokie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am done for the evening. Please, please, please share me with other people. That is how I get all of my clients is word of mouth. So either from YouTube people here or through my private clients. I do private readings. You're welcome, Armoni. Congratulations. And you're going to do really well. So like, subscribe. I'm on YouTube. Oh, wait, you know I'm on YouTube because you're right here. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can subscribe on my website. It's myspiritualfriend.com. Basically, everywhere you find me as My Spiritual Friend. The only weird little schmutzy thing on there is Twitter. It's FRND, no IEN, because they won't let me have that many. Thank you for the birthday wishes for April. I can't believe she's going to be 4. Yeah, it's going to be a big week this week. I feel like once they're 4, they're not really, I mean, they're still really little, right? But they're just not like they'll start to lose some of their baby stuff. Thank you, KK. As always, I really appreciate you. Everybody be safe this week. Kind of hang in there. It's going to be a little bit of a wonky ride for a little bit, but it'll be okay. We'll get through it. And also, if you do manifesting, just see Joe Biden having a safe inauguration. I just feel like that's really important for us to focus the energy on that instead of focusing on something terrible is going to happen. Just see him getting through his inauguration safely and Kamala getting inaugurated safely. Everybody getting sworn in safely. That's, I think, is really, really important. And maybe my vision from way back in 2016 of seeing Donald Trump being escorted with handcuffs will come true. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.